Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to look at getting started with the Gloomspite Gitz in Warhammer Age of Sigmar, focusing on building a force around the Moonclan Skrap battle formation. Today's video is sponsored by Easy Roller Dice, fantastic quality, easily legible dice that make your games quick and easy. Easy Roller Dice also sell other accessories for your dice like dice trays, cases, bags and cups as well. Use the code Cinderful Gaming to get 20% off your next order and help support this store and the channel. Starting off our force, we have the Loonboss. Now the Loonboss is a sort of generic Gloomspite Gitz hero, though he does provide us with some cool little buffs. The first of these is going to be the Let's Get Stabbing ability, where if this model fights, you can drag in a friendly unit of near non-hero Moonclan infantry and fight immediately after him. But it's the I'm the Boss ability really where it shines, where pick a visible friendly Moonclan Stabbas unit holding within 12 inch, roll a dice on a 2+, you either get to return d6 slain models if the unit's not in combat, or add +1 to wound rolls, which is an incredibly important buff, considering a lot of grot stuff does wound on 5+. The model also does have a built-in ward of 6+, which is a nice little bit of extra protection on top of its 4+ save. Joining our Loonboss will then be a Fungoid Cave Shaman, a level 1 wizard, so it can cast one spell in each hero phase or dispel, whatever it wants to do, but it also does have a once per battle ability called Deathcap Mushroom, where it can add one to its power level for the rest of the turn during your hero phase. This will allow it to cast 2 spells in that hero phase. Moving on, we then have the aforementioned in passing Moonclan Stabbas, a 1 health 5+ save unit with 5 for its movement as well. They have 2 attacks each, hitting on 4s, wounding on 5s, hence you're seeing why that +1 to wound can be so important. Then Netters is a cool defensive buff where you can pick an enemy infantry unit in combat with them, roll a dice on a 3+, the enemy unit has to subtract 1 from their hit rolls. Cool way to keep your grots alive, especially when there are so many grots in some of these units. They're 20 models base and a reinforced unit is 40 models. Even with a terrible armor save, that's still a lot of wounds for enemies to have to work through. You've then got a champion in the musician as well, and standard bearer. This will allow you to get some extra rally rolls and a little bit of extra control score as well. After that, we then have Loonsmasha Fanatics. This is one of 2 types of Fanatics we have access to, and this is the unit of them that likes to hide inside our other Moonclan Grot units with the Hidden Loons ability, and then release the Fanatics, allowing us to shoot them out during either movement phase. This can be our enemy's one as well, so it's great for maybe hiding them away and popping up a countercharge unit as maybe a deterrent for your enemy. They do have to be 9 inch away from enemy units, but you can sort of trigger this that if your enemy charges into the Moonclan unit, you can actually reduce the distance down because they might be 9 inch away at the start of your opponent's movement phase, or at least at the end of it, but then they would be closer once your enemy's actually charged in. You also have Whirling Death as well, which gives them strikes first, which when you consider they have d6 attacks with d3 damage each and rend 2, can be a pretty nice way to really put some hurt on a unit with that counter charge. The other type of Fanatics are then the Sporesplatta Fanatics. Sporesplatta Fanatics do still do d3 damage, although only rend 1 and with d3 attacks each, and they don't hide in your other units. However, they do get to make a normal move at the beginning of the game, and the reason you may want to do this is from the Pushroom Frenzy ability, where you do add +1 to the attached characteristic of melee weapons for other friendly Moonclan units while they're holding within 12 inch, but you also subtract 1 from the attached characteristic of enemy units nearby, so a really cool unit that's not only giving you a buff, but debuffing your enemy at the same time. And lastly, we have the Sneaky Snufflers. Now, Sneaky Snufflers don't really have too much in the way of a combat profile. They're not going to do all that much, but it's really the Looncat Mushroom ability they're here for you, which is once per turn army-wide, meaning you can only use one of these abilities in your army once per turn. But use it during the hero phase, and if this unit's not in combat, you pick a friendly Moonclan unit, hold within 12 inches of them. You roll a dice, adding 1 if you're under the Bad Moon Cackling face this turn, and on a 3+, you get a ward of 5+. On a 6+, though, you also get +1 attack. This can be a pretty cool way to stack +2 attacks onto a large unit of grots, really boosting up the power that you can do when you combine them with, say, Sporesplatta Fanatics. And so our force today for the Moonclan Skrap gives us the Spreading Lunacy ability, which is once per turn for our army during the end of turn. We pick 3 friendly non-squig Moonclan or Spiderfang units in combat to be the target. They get to make a pile move, then they can roll a d3 and on a 2+, inflict an amount of mortal damage equal to the roll. For our first regiment, we then have our Loonboss, who's going to be our general with the artifact power, the Clamid Cow, for -1 to hit. For regiments, then we have our Moonclan Stabbas, which have been reinforced, another unit of unreinforced Moonclan Stabbas, our Loonsmasha Fanatics, and Sporesplatta Fanatics as well. And our second regiment has our hero as the Fungoid Cave Shaman with the heroic trait Loon Touch for +1 to cast, and then we've also got a unit of sneaky Snufflers there as well. We hope this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and it was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment down below, and while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and join our Discord server to check out all our future Warhammer Age of Sigmar content.